The world of boxing is often defined by the triumphs that happen inside the ring, but the battles that fighters face outside of it are often just as fierce, and sometimes far more devastating. For Scotland's former undisputed light welterweight champion Josh Taylor, the shocking news of Ricky Hatton's passing earlier this year served as a life-changing wake-up call. Taylor, who had struggled with the temptations of drinking and the emotional rollercoaster that comes with fame, admitted that Hatton's untimely death hit him harder than anything else could have. Once regarded as one of Britain's most beloved champions, Hatton's struggles with mental health, addiction, and alcohol were well documented throughout his career and retirement. When the tragic news broke, it reminded Taylor of his own path, and just how close he could come to losing everything. A dark path after glory. Josh Taylor's career reached its peak when he defeated Jose Ramirez in 2021 to become the undisputed champion at 140 pounds. But instead of basking in the glory of his achievements, Taylor later confessed that he felt a growing emptiness inside. Injuries, layoffs, and the stress of carrying the expectations of an entire nation pushed him toward unhealthy coping mechanisms. After the fights, I'd go out, drink for days, and lose myself, Taylor admitted in a recent interview. I told myself it was just to celebrate, but deep down I knew I was trying to escape something I didn't want to face. The more I drank, the worse it got. The Scotsman found himself spiraling, especially after controversial decisions and the backlash he received following his win over Jack Catterall in 2022. Social media attacks, boos from the crowd, and questions about his legacy only fueled his frustration. Hatton's tragic end struck a nerve. Ricky Hatton's death was not only heartbreaking for boxing fans worldwide but also deeply personal for fighters like Taylor, who grew up idolizing the Hitman. Hatton had been the face of British boxing in the 2000s, packing out arenas in Manchester and even drawing 30,000 fans to Las Vegas when he faced Floyd Mayweather Jr. But after his career ended, Hatton's well-documented battle with depression and substance abuse took a toll. His struggles were public knowledge, yet his passing still sent shockwaves. For Taylor, it was the moment he realized he had to change. When I heard Ricky had gone, it broke me, Taylor said. He was one of the fighters I looked up to, a proper warrior. To know that he couldn't fight those demons forever made me stop and think about my own life. I was heading down a dangerous road, and I didn't want to end up like that. Finding purpose beyond the bottle. Instead of allowing the tragedy to sink him further, Taylor took it as a sign to reclaim control of his life. The first step was giving up alcohol entirely, something he admits was far from easy. Friends, family, and his fiancée were crucial in keeping him accountable, but the decision ultimately had to come from within. It was like flicking a switch, Taylor explained. I asked myself what mattered more, nights I couldn't remember or the legacy I wanted to leave behind. Ricky's death was a reminder that time isn't promised, and I needed to start valuing mine. Taylor turned his energy toward training, mentoring younger fighters, and reconnecting with the parts of his life that truly brought him joy. He began attending community events, speaking openly about mental health, and even hinting at plans to start a foundation aimed at helping young athletes avoid the traps he fell into. A new perspective on boxing and life. Taylor has since admitted that the old version of himself, the one who thrived on adrenaline, chaos, and partying, nearly destroyed his future. Now, with clarity and sobriety, he sees boxing as not just a career but as a vehicle to inspire change. I've been given a second chance to not just fight, but to live with purpose, Taylor said. If my story can stop even one young fighter from making the mistakes I did, then it's worth it. His renewed mindset is already translating into his preparation for upcoming bouts. Those close to him say he is more focused, disciplined, and motivated than ever before. No longer is the goal just to win titles, it's to leave behind something lasting, something positive. The lesson from Hatton's legacy. Ricky Hatton's legacy will always be a complicated one. A brilliant fighter whose charisma and heart made him a national hero, but whose struggles outside the ring highlighted the brutal realities of fame and pressure in professional boxing. For Josh Taylor, Hatton's story is now a daily reminder to stay grounded and to keep fighting, not just opponents, but the silent battles within. Ricky gave everything to the sport, and he paid a price for it, Taylor reflected. I owe it to him, to myself, and to the people who support me to make sure I don't waste the chance I still have. As Taylor steps into the next chapter of his career, his fight is no longer just about belts and rankings. It's about redemption, responsibility, and proving that even the darkest moments can light the way to something greater.